My fellow Ambazonians, dear soldiers of our war of independence, I am making this brief outing this evening to show solidarity with our people on the ground and especially those in jail. We have, as we know, facing an unprecedented pandemic in the world, the coronavirus that has been ravaging societies, even established democracies with very strong institutions, both economic and health infrastructures, are finding it extremely very difficult to cope not only with the speed but breadth of the pandemic. And so I have come today to remind our people that in times like this, we have to take precautions because Cameroon has, in the past 58 years, deliberately dismantled our infrastructures. Our people are extremely very poor, and so even if you fall sick, it will be extremely very difficult to get any basic form of treatment. The coronavirus is a new virus, and so our immune system that act as our primary natural defenses are not able to lock in to understand how to fight this virus. And so it has the potential of harming our basic organ like our lungs. So we have to stay safe. Those without any health issues are okay, but those with other health troubles like cancer, lung infections, and other diseases that already weaken your immune system are more susceptible to extreme situations with the coronavirus. Now, as I said the other day, we have the tendency in our societies to believe in our gods, to believe in faith. Yes, we should believe in our gods, we should have faith that we will sail through this situation. But it is important that we take measures to stop the spread of this virus. There are basic hygienic situations that you can do to prevent transmission, like washing your hands, disinfecting your hands, and closing your mouth while coughing or sneezing. Those are critical. People should not move into the hinterlands because what we know is that the primary incubator of this virus will come from Cameroon, since that's the natural port of entry into our own territory. So people should avoid moving into Cameroon. The first thing it's critical. Secondly, those who come into cosmopolitan areas should avoid moving into the hinterlands because they have the potential of transmitting the virus right into the hinterlands where the situation of our health infrastructures is even more dire. So we should take these primary precautions to stay safe for our families, for our revolution, for Mother Ambazonia, and for all those who laid their lives so we may yet be free. Thirdly, we know our prisoners are crammed in tightly knitted spaces. For example, the Kondenge maximum security prison was built for about 1,500 inmates. We know there are more than 10,000 people locked up in cramped quarters in Kondenge. Some have diseases like tuberculosis that can easily spread. And so the potential for the virus being spread in a quarter with close proximity is very high. And so we are doing a couple of things which I'm going to talk about to make sure that we can alert the international system on exactly what is going on behind bars. Fellow Ambazonians, Cameroon is an evil state. We know from examples what Cameroon has done to infect our people with HIV virus, to use the process of immunization to sterilize our girls because they wanted to maintain a very low population that it can decimate through genocide. So Cameroon is not a partner for the protection of the health of the Ambazonian people. Through its actions, it has destroyed our economy, destroyed our political system that could oversee our health infrastructures and health policies. There is no state. There is no governance institution at this particular moment within Ambazonia that can cater for the needs of our people. Out here, there are lockdowns. Europe is in lockdown. The United States is in lockdown. But the governments in these countries have taken extra economic measures to protect people who are going to lose their jobs, to protect people who are going to fall ill, their insurance services in countries where people pay health insurance and in others where health insurance is a national policy of the government. So there are things we cannot replicate within our own country at this particular moment, especially when we are at war. But these are the small, sensitive, sensible measures we can take to protect ourselves. As far as our soldiers are concerned, we have given directives that we should avoid the movement of troops from one barrack into the other. We should maintain a troop status quo at this particular moment to ensure that we do not move people who are potential carriers into other barracks. The potential of these virus affecting our society in a negative way is high, not because of natural tendencies, but because Cameroon has become the primary agent of denudation in spreading diseases within our communities. We should be each other's keeper. We should wash our hands constantly. We should take precautions on how we interact. We call it social distancing. So we are primarily a social society where people interact, cry, die, birthday parties, and other come-togethers in churches and stuff. We are people highly connected. We are one of the, strongest. We have one of the strongest social bonds within the continent. But this is a moment to exercise some level of what we call social distancing, where you avoid hugging, you avoid kissing strangers, you avoid some of the normal routines that we did to express our connectivity with one another. Shaking hands, it's not necessary. Hello is okay. So we are facing a war against a brutal system. And we are also facing this pandemic that is affecting established systems and is ravaging societies, like we see what is going on in Italy, what has happened in China. We know Chinese are frequent travelers into our own societies. There is no need for stigmatization. There is no need for stereotyping, but we should exercise caution with whom we interact. Your neighbor, your friends coming in might be carriers that you don't know. We have to stay safe for one another. We have to stay safe for our revolution. We have to stay safe for our country. In the past days, as I said the other day, I have instructed the Secretary for Humanitarian Affairs to reach out to the international community to make sure that they can take some measures. And in the past days, we have been receiving communications from the United Nations and specialized agencies under the United Nations. I will not go deeply into some of the things we are talking, but we are working extremely very hard in the background to make sure that there is collaboration between us and international institutions to make sure that we can protect our people and we can move as quickly as possible into areas that may be affected. So the situation is being monitored right from my desk and other institutions of the Ambazonian Governing Council. There is an ongoing campaign by powerful ladies in our revolution to mobilize monies for sanitation kit. I encourage each and every one of you to donate to make sure we can send sanitizers to our prisoners so they can use in those close quarters. We can do a little bit more, to protect our people, show our empathy in this particular moment. But you must be reassured that we are working in the background with the United Nations and some agencies, specialized agencies, to make sure that Cameroon does not use this, exploit this situation to harm our people more. We will not be allowing Cameroon to move into areas that we control. We have the potential working with international institutions to take care of our space. What we are asking is that they get out so we can properly manage, our health infrastructures and prepare our country for such pandemics. So Ambazonians, we've gone through a lot in our lives as a people, in our lives as a country, and we've survived all the kind of traumas that have been artificially imposed on us. And I know that we are going to survive this as a people, going through genocide in the hands of Cameroon with the utter silence of the international system. I pray for each and every one of you, and I ask each and every one of you, wherever you are, to extend your hand of sympathy to our people at home. Give whatever you can give through whichever group you can offer your support so that they can get sanitizers, they can provide the basic necessities that people may need at this particular moment. We've asked them to do all what is required to defend, the independence that was declared by Siseko Ayub Tabe. We've asked them to lock down our country on Mondays, and they've done so. We are now out here with proper health systems. We are out here with economic systems that can take care of us if we fall ill, that can provide some level of support if we lose our jobs. This is totally absent in our country. And this is one moment that we can show our people that we are one people facing the same tragedies, even though separated by vast oceans. Thank you, Ambazonians. The next issue I'd like to talk about is to give you a heads up on the state of our war of independence. In the past days, our forces across the territory have been battling the terrorist forces, and I want to congratulate our forces for their bravery across different parts of our country: Mezam, Momo, Bui, Fako, Manyu, and other places. You have demonstrated your skills that you've gathered in the past 3 years of combating these terrorist forces. You've improved your ability to strike them where it hurts. We see them crying on our streets. We must teach them a lesson in the land of Kuvali, Kenya. We must show them that this country belongs to the 8 million Ambazonians who've been deprived for so long. Our soldiers are developing more sophisticated technologies, more sophisticated tactics to undermine Cameroon's ability to infiltrate behind our lines and harm our people. We are also doing a lot to make sure that the second front in our war of independence, which are the internal spoilers and enablers who've been fanning tribalism and hatred from Bui to Momo, are dealt with. I have told commanders and the defense department to take extreme measures to protect our war of independence and these petty criminals scattered across the diaspora trying to make money and garner power from our war of independence will be taken care of. We will not sit back and roll back the gains that our brave soldiers have made in the past 3 years, liberating areas that have been sold back to the regimes through the collaboration of these small criminals sitting out here on Alphabet TV and running their mouth, being unable to distinguish between David and Goliath. So I wanna let you people know that we are not going to tolerate anymore these enablers from inside who are destroying our war of independence. So we are going to take stronger measures. Orders have been passed down to our commanders to make sure that they defend themselves, defend the communities. Any community that allows itself to be instrumentalized by Gideon, there will be consequences. We will not allow people to be instrumentalized the same way they were instrumentalized in Rwanda to perpetrate genocide, the same way Goebbels instrumentalized the Germans to perpetrate the Holocaust. We will protect our people. We have seen that each time they've used these tribalism and hatred and propaganda across Fako, Bui, we have lost grounds. And it is important that Ambazonians, you know that all through my time as leader of the Ambazonian Governing Council, I have exercised a lot of patience. I have tried as much as possible to maintain our own lane where we disagree, when we disagree. Where there has been point of convergence, we've worked together. Yesterday I left a meeting with other leaders. We're finding common grounds where we agree. Where we disagree, we could simply do our own things, like in the separation of powers in government, the judiciary, executive, and legislature, acting independently is going to still work well for a country. The same way where we disagree, we can still be honest to ourselves and move and maintain our own lane. But when people take upon themselves to instrumentalize communities, to ask our soldiers to murder their own comrades, we must take action. And I can assure you that we will take strong measures against these petty criminals scattered across the diaspora. We are also trying to work with others. All those running the LGAs, we will engage. I call upon you to distance yourself from these small criminals who do not know the difference between their left from their right, who do not have any idea what it takes to liberate a homeland, who are experimenting with the lives of our people. It's not about the revolution. It's about themselves. They are hungry. They need significance. They cannot get those significance from their own families or from their job side or from their careers. The revolution has become a platform for them to be significant, and they are exploiting some of the differences which are usual in societies, to fund hatred, to fund division for their own proper interest. I call upon all of you to work together with the Ambazonian Defense Forces wherever possible. We will engage privately in private discussions to see how we can defend our states, defend our communities, and defend our bloc. It's about time. You've seen in the last 3 years what the harm they have caused to our revolution. Most of you have started walking away. Reach out to me. Let's have a proper conversation to see how we can forge this thing together to liberate. And all those interested in governance will be able to exercise their constitutional right to create association political parties and ask from their constituencies, the mandate to govern. But at this phase of liberation, we must be able to distinguish between those who are dedicated, who have a national liberation plan, and who do not see antagonism, as the way forward, who see difference as healthy in society. You must be able to, in the past 3 years, make this difference. And that these people that you are following are soiling your reputation. Some of you are highly educated. Some of you are skilled professionals. And you can't believe yourself that, in a liberated homeland, you find your district being run by these, unskilled, uneducated lunatics, who think, they can divide us for them to prevail. And I tell you something. Whenever there is positive vibration in our war of independence, every one of us feel good. Whether you agree with me or not, you feel good. They feel threatened. Each time there is cohesion, each time Ambazonians are excited, they feel threatened. They thrive in chaos. They thrive in division. They thrive in the propagation of hatred. You have to take a stand. It's not taking you anywhere. You soil your reputation and your name, following petty criminals around who are trying to exploit, our revolution for their own relevance. We will take strong measures to protect this revolution. We show no antagonism towards anyone. Every Ambazonian fighting in every block, in every district, is doing so for the interests of our country. And we think Ambazonians have a right to fight wherever they want to fight. Soldiers should collaborate. As I speak, I can assure you, the Ambazonian Defense Forces is talking with other forces. They are in one group with the AMF and others trying to work together. We have tried also in the past weeks to reach out to some of these petty criminals, and they have been using, exploiting, fanning hatred. You see what is going on in Bui. You see what is going on in Momo. When they fund the hatred, they are the first to go on social media and start crying and start screaming. That shows you how naive, they can be in a revolution. A revolution is something you demonstrate strength. Even when the ADF is attacked, even when soldiers, are kidnapped, I can sit behind and mourn. I don't go out there crying and destroying the cohesion that we have built. So we must be focused. We must not blink. We must reject these petty criminals running around and fanning division in our war of independence. We've launched the tough. I want you to commit. Ambazonians, commit. Let's turn this thing around in the next 6 months. The national liberation agenda has not changed. The strategic orientation has not changed. We have added some elements in this strategy to protect our people with the new technology that we've developed. Don't you blink. Let no one ever tell you that you aren't gonna run your affairs the way you see fit. Let no shouting butts, no crying babies out there, no petty criminals out there deviate you from your focus on the real enemy that has held us bondage in the past 58 years. They thrive on division. They thrive on hate. Show love to one another, especially at this time when we are attacked by a pandemic. Trust in the steadfastness of this leadership. There will be no blinking as far as Cameroon is concerned. Ambazonia will be a better place for you, myself, our children, those who've gone before us, those who are in jail. God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening.